Hello, I'm Penni Zurgable, librarian from the Cascade branch of Kent District Library. Tonight is our first edition of What We're Reading, where I'm going to be talking to librarians and local readers and very important persons like the person we have tonight, who is Shelly Irwin, the host of the morning show at WGVU. But you're going to find out what I didn't know before this, though I've been on her show, that she's also a tremendous athlete. She's a marathon runner. Does Ironman competitions. She's nonstop and unstoppable. I'm going to push it over to Shelley to tell us what you're reading, Shelley.
Oh, because reading is good for us almost just as much as that physical exercise. Thank you, Penny, for this opportunity to kick off this series strong, and I'll be looking forward to hearing about what others are reading. But yeah, the spotlight is on us tonight, so thank you for this. And, I have a feeling we read not only to escape, but we also read according to what our passions are. And I have three passions in life. Basically, my job is a passion, my animals are a passion, and fitness is a passion. So for our purposes tonight, I'm going to talk about a book that I am still reading that deals with fitness. And this deals with a woman of fitness, marathon woman. Can you see? There you go. Literally cutting to the chase, running the race to revolutionize women's sports, a memoir from the woman who challenged the all-male tradition of the Boston Marathon. Now, I'm all for women and men equality and all that good stuff, but this is a great read of, and if I may share a bit of the praises for the book and a reason why I'm reading, it's a testament to her unwavering determination, her unflagging energy, her unfailing and often unwarranted opinions. And if you're wondering again who this marathon woman is, Catherine Switzer. She was the first woman to run the 1967 Boston Marathon. Now, I'll just fill in a couple of the highlights. Again, I'm not fully finished reading, but I kind of got through the best parts. Let's go back to 1967. 1980s, women really weren't running, and in the 60s, they pretty much were discouraged from running because of our physical bodies, and we respect our bodies, but I'm not respecting it now, swimming, biking, and running. It was her story. Way back when, she wanted to be the best field hockey persona, and to be good at field hockey, you have to run. So her dad encouraged her to run a mile every day to be good for field hockey. She played at Lynchburg College, but then fell in love with this running. As we often do, we find a mentor. So her mentor was a gentleman named Arnie, who challenged her to run more. And so they basically were running 6, 7, 10 miles. And he said, why don't you come run the Boston Marathon with me? Not knowing that really women weren't allowed back in the 1960s. So bottom line, she trained for the Boston Marathon. I'll cut kind of to the chase. I won't give it all away, but she enters, and she was a journalism major. Another reason why, of course, some interest to me personally, and of course her career, and she is, of course, still with us. And there's a backstory to this too that I'll present. But so she entered under Kay Switzer. Not Catherine, but Case, actually. So no one knew she was a woman. So boom, 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 she lines up for the race. She starts racing. About mile 6 or 7, the press cart in front of them catches her and starts taking pictures. Why is this woman running? And she's got long pants on, and she wasn't trying to hide herself. She was just running with Arnie and I think her boyfriend. Bottom line, about mile 9, 10, a gentleman rushes out, tries to pull her off, and there is a picture in the book of trying to pull her off, and literally her boyfriend at that time kind of pushes him off to the side rather harshly. Does she finish the marathon? Yeah, she finishes the marathon, but it is the details that she writes in between being obviously intimidated halfway through, and that's not even before you're intimidated just by running a marathon. So, and then she shares a bit more about her story. The last part of the conversation is about how she gets into journalism And she is credited with perhaps the woman who was responsible for the first woman running the 1984 Olympic marathon. So again, a cool gal. Now, quick backstory, if I may. Have I had time for that?
Oh, sure.
Obviously, one of my joys before COVID was to travel, to do a lot of half marathons. So there was a group of us that would travel frequently. We did a half marathon at St. Petersburg, Florida. And this is back in 2008. And half the fun of our runs is going to the expo. So here we run into this marathon woman, literally standing by herself. And I didn't, this is 2008. So, you know, obviously her banner was there. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Catherine Switzer. So I get her card, you know, maybe I'll interview her. I did not follow up on it, but darn if 2015, the Kent County Girls on the Run didn't bring her to West Michigan for their keynote speaker. So I did get to meet her, and that's when I got my book, and just started reading it recently. So therein lies the passion of my fitness, and yet finding a mentor that can keep us moving on no matter what our goal is, Penny. So that's a good thing. Now, can I add one thing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to even delve into this. Really important stuff my dog has taught me. So we won't go into that, but here you go. Keep at it. There's always a way out. So
I love that. You snuck in a second book, and I loved it. And I wanted to throw out, because I didn't know, I mean, I'd heard the story about the woman marathoner who got attempted to be pulled out, which was horrifying to me. But I didn't know her name or anything about the biography until Shelley told me. So I looked up in our library, and we also have a brand new kids biography of Catherine Switzer called Her Fearless Run. So for all of you girls out there who are running, that would be a great book for them. She's a great mentor, obviously, to Shelley. And Shelley is bringing us to the heights of women's achievement and fitness. And I'm going to talk about a book tonight that's about beer. So I feel kind of in the other direction, but this is I hope you'll enjoy it. I don't know that you'll find a hero or a mentor, but maybe you will. I didn't read this book for a long time, though. Ryan Strell had come to KDL, to our KDL program at a local brewery, and talked about his book. And everyone I know who's into beer and into books has told me to please read this book. And I'm a red wine drinker, so I kind of was avoiding it. But I finally did, because I was writing book reviews about women in business for a local women's flyer that goes out here in West Michigan. So I thought I should do this one, because it's kind of about women in business, women in the beer business. And I loved it. I was surprised. Sometimes you have those books that you avoid, even though people tell you to read them, and then you end up loving them. And this was one of them, because it's really about family, and it's very much a Michigan, Midwestern kind of story. It's about two sisters who grew up on a farm. There's Helen and Edith is the sweet one, and Helen is the more ambitious one who wants to leave and go, who wants to here for some strange reason. And she wants to brew it, and she wants to have a big business. And she ends up marrying, almost intentionally, the
wow. Did you freeze up, Penny? I wonder if Penny froze up. Penny, did you freeze up? If not, I'm going to have to continue on. Standing by for Penny. This is Shelley. We are still live. Let's see. While we wait for Penny, I actually Facebooked those of my personas and asked them what they're reading. And here's what they're reading. AJ's reading I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. Jackie's reading Utopia Avenue. Kim's reading Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents, and Gandhi, A Life Inspired. So far, they're both very good. How about Joy? She's reading Peter Hamill, A Drinking Life, and Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Water Dancer. We're also hearing from Patty, Lisa Wingate's Before We Were Yours. Holly is reading Younger Next Year. Hi, Penny, are you back? Oh, we can't hear you. Let me continue this. Lisa's reading Freakonomics. Marcia's reading, oh, when you come visit, you can peruse my library and borrow. So there we go. Penny?
I think I'm back now. Sorry for that technical glitch.
Oh, I had to take over. Now that was very difficult for me.
That was impressive. I could tell that you were a professional, Shelley. I'm glad you were here when I had my night of glitch, because I can't imagine one of my other librarian friends, the look of panic on their face and what they would do. But Shelley, being a professional broadcaster, just jumped right in and read those comments.
There were probably 20 seconds of, is it me or is it Penny? But we behaved ourselves. So I'm glad you're back, Penny.
Well, you were fabulous. Thank you so much for covering for me a little more about the Lager Queen of Minnesota. So it's about two sisters, Helen and Edith. And Edith marries Edith is the one who's the goody two-shoes, I forgot. And Helen's the one who wants to be beer and marries someone who has a beer company called Blott's and develops the first low-calorie beer. And their slogan is, "It's Blott's, drink lots."
Oh my. Well, Beer City, USA believes in that.
Yes, because it's labor. But Edith stayed at the farm and she was hardworking, and it kind of takes her and the hardship that she's had and the tough job she had being a poor person, uneducated, looking for work, and her sister's travels in the beer business. And then fast forward to Helen's granddaughter. And her name is Diana, and she is growing up during the time of the craft beer industry. So she comes into beer in her direction and develops her own craft beer. So it's interesting how all of these intersect, and all these generations of strong women in business, their trials, their tribulations, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I highly recommend it. The Lager Queen of Minnesota. So what do you think, Shelley? Is it too non-athletic for you, or would you go?
You know what? You probably should know that runners drink beer. So I have a feeling that, both can, if I borrow your book and learn about my beer, and you borrow my book and get you running, walking.
Get me running.
I think that would be kind of a nice bottom line for us both. And there are so many books in the library that we can read them both.
No, Shelley, I want to, just before we end, I would love it if you told some people about your Ironman competitions.
Nice. Well, thank you. First of all, and I'll preface it, I am only a half Ironman woman. An Ironman is the cream of the crop. So I've done half of those, which is a 70.3. Swimming 1.2 miles, riding my bike 56 miles, and running 13.1 miles. Now, I have also gone to 3 world championships, which is close to an Ironman. I've gone to Sweden for the World Championship triathlon. That was a 1.5 mile swim. It was supposed to be 2, but the water was 55 degrees, so they cut us. We then cycled 76 miles, and then we ran 18 and a half. There was some walking too. Then I went to Switzerland for the World Championship Duathlon. That was a 6 mile run, 96 mile bike.
96 mile 96. Bike?
I know. You did 3 loops, and this is Switzerland.
Yeah.
And then another 18 and a half mile run. And that was such that I beat there were 40 of us on the Team USA. 5 did not finish, and I finished within a half an hour to spare. So that was, and then the last was the Olympic Duathlon World Championship in Spain. And I had 5 of my good women friends come with me to cheer me on for that. That was a little less of a distance, but that was Spain. So it was wonderful. And we're not done with those excursions either. Let's go there. And I've done we've done half marathons in Ireland, Vancouver, Iceland, Madrid, and many. So we do drink beer afterwards.
Do you? But not before.
No, not before. No, it would not be pretty. How's that?
Oh, that's amazing.
And Penny, thank you. It's not for everyone. I have found a passion and found a healthy foundation that I've developed, and I do enjoy it. And I have a family of good friends that we do this with. But all the races have canceled this year. I was scheduled to do Chicago Marathon. I was scheduled to do 2 half Ironmans, one in Muncie, Indiana, and one in Traverse City. Riverbank Run, Grand Rapids Half Marathon, all have canceled. So that sometimes messes with your psyche. And that's why you go back to reading Marathon Woman.
And Shelley, I have a comment. So thanks for throwing this comment out from Deb Davis. She said, don't forget to mention El Camino, Shelley.
Yes. It was not a run. It was a walk. My running friends, and of course, as we all approach 60 and above, less are running. So why not walk? So we, 2 years ago, walked the Santiago del Camino trail, half of it, which was a 7-day adventure. And it was one day you'd walk 12 miles, one day you'd walk 13 miles. And there was beer involved there, Penny. That was a pilgrimage. It was a great experience. But Deb, yes, we did do that adventure, and it was beautiful.
And someday I want to read your biography.
Oh, well, get me to write a book. You're right. I have to sit down and do that. Right? Or if and when I do that, Kent District Library will be the first to get a copy. How's that?
Oh, perfect. You have to come and tell us about it too and do a signing.
Okay.
And I just want to thank you so much for being the first guest on What We're Reading. I appreciate everyone who came and watched. If you love fitness and running and biking like Shelley, or if you love reading and beer like me, it was nice to have you with us. Next week, I'm going to be talking to Lance Werner, the director of Kent District Library. We'll find out what Lance is reading right now, which I'm dying to find out. So I hope we'll see you then. Shelley, thanks again for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you, Penny.
Good to know you.
See you. Good to know you. Bye.
Bye-bye.